Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician.
A lot is going on with Big U right now. He's facing serious charges, including murder, fraud, and RICO violations. Some people are even blaming him for Nipsey Hussle's death. In fact, some have been saying for a while now that Big U in the 60s were behind it. Now a disturbing video clip allegedly leaked from jail is going viral, and some think it might be the very thing that gets him convicted. So let's break it all down. Here's the real story about Big U and the alleged murder footage. This situation has a lot of layers and we're peeling them all back today. For those who don't know, Big U is a major name in both the music industry and in the streets. He's a 58-year-old music executive from South Los Angeles, and artists like Wiz Khalifa have even called him the godfather of hip-hop. He played a big part in helping launch Nipsey Hussle's career. On the community side, Big U ran an organization called Developing Options, which was supposed to help fight gang violence. But here's where things start to get complicated. Federal prosecutors are now saying that his community work might have just been a cover. They believe Big U was actually running a criminal operation behind the scenes, something like a mafia-style network connected to the Rollin' 60s neighborhood, Crips. And the charges are no joke. Talking murder, racketeering, extortion, fraud, and even trafficking, all included in a 43-count federal indictment. If convicted, Big U could be facing life in prison.
Today, we're here to announce federal criminal charges against Eugene Henley Jr., a career criminal known as Big U, who used his contacts and leadership role in the Crips criminal street gang, the entertainment industry, and a youth charity to further his own criminal enterprise.
The charges they're heavy, fam. Among the most serious is the alleged murder of 21-year-old Ron Williams, an aspiring rapper who was signed to Big U's unique music label.
Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway. He then attempted to evade and obstruct the investigation into the murder, including ordering witnesses not to speak with law enforcement.
According to prosecutors, a man named Williams recorded a diss track aimed at Big U, and Big U apparently didn't take that disrespect lightly. The feds claim that in retaliation, Big U kidnapped Williams and murdered him. Williams' body was later found in a ditch near a Nevada landfill with multiple gunshot wounds to the face, but it doesn't stop there. Prosecutors say Big U tried to cover up the crime by removing studio equipment and deleting surveillance footage that could have linked him to the murder. And that's just one of the charges. This case runs deep. Big U is also facing racketeering charges under the RICO Act. Feds say he led a criminal operation with the Rollin' 60s, Crips organizing violent crimes to keep control over his empire, and it doesn't stop at murder. They've hit him with fraud and embezzlement charges too, claiming he stole money from his own anti-gang charity, committing wire fraud, bank fraud, and basically taking taxpayer dollars meant for helping the community. There are more serious charges on the list: extortion, robbery, human trafficking. They claim the group was involved in violent extortion, armed robberies, and even interstate prostitution. Then there's obstruction of justice. The indictment includes wiretap recordings from January 2023, where Big U allegedly brags about killing rivals, reportedly saying, "I'm a killer, period. I'm going to murder." Now this is where the mystery around the footage comes in. The federal complaint says Big U allegedly ordered the removal of surveillance footage from a Las Vegas studio where Williams had recorded music that suggests if any video evidence existed, it was likely destroyed. So what's the main evidence against Big U? It mostly comes down to wiretap conversations, audio recordings, and circumstantial evidence linked to Williams' murder. And that brings us back to the question that's been circling like smoke in the air. Did Big U really leak a murder video from jail? All we know is this: there's a disturbing video involving a rapper that's been making the rounds. And it's not just some random clip you scroll past and forget about. This one feels different. This one hits hard. It makes you stop and ask, who's really behind this? Because when you hear Big U's name tied to a murder case, everything changes. Big U isn't just some local street name or a feature on a mixtape. His influence runs deep. His respect doesn't come from likes or followers. Comes from the streets, from the people who really know. From the streets to the top, Big U built his legacy on silence, making major moves without making noise. That's how it works in the game when you're really built like that. You don't need to post a video to prove anything. A nod, a whisper, a subtle move, and the whole block knows what's up. So when this alleged video started making the rounds, people began asking, Who really pulled the strings here? But there's also a chance folks are confusing Big U's case with other high-profile murder cases that do involve footage. For example, there was recent news about video footage from 2020 related to rapper Mo3's murder tied to Yellow Beezy's case. In Mo3's case, the footage showed him being chased and shot on a highway, but that situation is completely unrelated to Big U. Let's keep it real though. Big U has been in federal custody since March 2025. Inmates typically have limited access to communication, let alone the ability to share videos from behind bars. So far, no official reports suggest that Big U had access to or leaked any kind of footage, but even without a video, Big U's story is intense, and we're just getting started. Let's talk about the murder case that could land him behind bars for life and the alleged criminal empire he built. Here's what we know. Racine Williams was a 21-year-old up-and-coming rapper who had signed with Big U's Unique music label. But according to federal investigators, things went south in January 2021. Big U reportedly paid for Williams to fly out to Las Vegas to record at a studio owned by a Grammy-winning producer. But instead of recording as agreed, Williams allegedly created a diss track aimed at Big U. That move, according to the feds, disrespected not only Big U, but his entire operation. And in the street life, disrespect can turn deadly. Federal prosecutors claim Big U and his associate Sylvester Robinson, also known as Vi, traveled to Vegas to confront Williams. What allegedly happened next is chilling. Big U is accused of driving Williams out to North Las Vegas, shooting him in the head and dragging his body off Interstate 15, dumping it in the desert. Williams's body was later found about 4 miles northeast of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway with multiple gunshot wounds to the face. That's cold-blooded, no question about it, but it doesn't end there. After the murder, Big U allegedly told studio workers to leave the building while one of his associates removed surveillance footage to cover up the crime. He also reportedly told witnesses to stay quiet and not speak to law enforcement.
Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway. He then attempted to evade and obstruct the investigation into the murder, including ordering witnesses not to speak with law enforcement.
The evidence against Big U is stacking up, and it's not just rumors. According to an affidavit by FBI Special Agent Andrew Rusa, the diss track Williams recorded played a major role in the conflict. The feds say the song challenged Big U's authority and reputation, which may have triggered the deadly fallout. Now, let's be clear, DNA evidence found at the crime scene was inconclusive, but it also didn't rule Big U out as a suspect. There's also testimony from a witness known as CA, who claimed that Big U visited Williams at an Airbnb in Las Vegas. According to this witness, Williams said he missed studio sessions because he didn't have a ride, adding another layer to the timeline of events. But Big U isn't staying silent. Before turning himself in on March 19, 2025, he took to social media, posting several videos where he denied all the allegations. In those videos, Big U said the feds were trying to destroy his reputation as a respected black community leader.
I'm looking at these videos as I come in to turn myself in, and I'm disheartened by the fact that they're trying to say that I stole something from Developing Option, I used Developing Option as a front. Developing Option paid my bills. They paid my house note, they paid the bills for my family.
He straight up said, "I ain't did nothing," and described the charges as bullcrap.
I never mixed that with nothing. I didn't manipulate nobody, I didn't steal nothing. I want to deal with this fight, see what it is. I just want y'all to know, all this stuff is quagmire. Shit is all bullcrap.
The feds believe they've got their guy on April 22nd, 2025. A judge ruled that Big U must remain in jail while awaiting trial, citing the serious nature of the charges, including the murder of Rayshon Williams and evidence of obstruction. Prosecutors argued that if released, Big U could pose a threat to the community, potential victims, and key witnesses, and the judge agreed. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. According to the indictment, this isn't just about one murder. The feds say it's about a criminal empire, what they're calling the Big U enterprise. They claim this was an organized operation that functioned on its own, but also collaborated with the Rollins 60s Crips. Here's where things get even more complicated. Big U had a dual identity, one as a respected music executive and community activist, and another, prosecutors claim, as the leader of a violent criminal organization. His nonprofit Developing Options received major funding to help stop gang violence, including donations from NBA stars like Draymond Green and Shaquille O'Neal, but according to the feds, all of it was a cover front to hide illegal activities behind a polished public image.
The RICO charges against Mr. Henley and his associates reflect a pattern of crimes that runs a gambit from extortion to robbery to murder to tax fraud and to human trafficking, all under the umbrella of a well-organized criminal organization led by Mr. Finley.
There was an embezzlement angle to this, to the criminal enterprise, where hundreds of thousands of dollars were siphoned off that should have gone to charitable purposes, gang reduction, gang intervention. Instead, he used it for his own purposes, his own...
The extortion charges against Big U are shocking. According to the indictment, Big U and his associates extorted money from both businesses and individuals, including a $3 million debt allegedly collected from an NBA All-Star in 2022. Prosecutors also claim they ordered a robbery at an unlicensed LA marijuana dispensary after the shop stopped making extortion payments, but it doesn't stop there. Big U is also facing human trafficking charges under the Mann Act. He's accused of paying Armania Fleecier $1,000 to transport 3 women from California to Las Vegas for prostitution. On top of that, the enterprise is allegedly involved in drug trafficking and firearms violations. Other people tied to the case include rappers Loose, Cannon, and Brick Baby, who are also facing serious charges for robbery, drug distribution, and illegal weapons possession. If convicted, Big U could spend the rest of his life in prison. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges, and his trial is currently scheduled for May 20th, 2025, though that date could still change. Now you might be wondering, what does Rayshawn Williams' family have to say about all of this? Williams' mother has publicly demanded justice, insisting that Big U is responsible. For her son's death, it adds another emotional layer to an already intense case. What we're seeing here is a picture of Big U as a very complex figure, a music executive, a self-proclaimed community leader, and according to federal prosecutors, the head of a powerful criminal network. The Williams murder is being used by the government as an example of how Big U allegedly used violence to control people and silence anyone who disrespected him. But here's the thing, far serious as these charges are in the US justice system, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Big U has denied all the claims, and his defense team could challenge the government's case, especially since a lot of the evidence appears to be circumstantial. Now, let's talk about the part of this story that's been blowing up on social media, the rumors connecting Big U to the murder of Nipsey Hussle. Let's be clear, Big U has not been charged in connection with Nipsey Hussle's death. Federal indictment doesn't mention it. And these claims are mostly based on old interviews, social media rumors, and speculation. There's no solid evidence connecting him to Nipsey's murder in the legal documents. So where does this rumor come from? Big U and Nipsey had a long history. Big U was actually a key figure in launching Nipsey's career, even signing him to a 10-year deal under Unique Music. They were close at one point, but things later fell apart. According to reports, they had a falling out over music, equipment, and Nipsey ended up releasing a track many believe was a diss aimed at Big U. In the song, he raps, "You don't got a clue of what you want to do. I'm busy getting rich. You think I'm gonna stop for you." After that, Big U reportedly wanted to confront Nipsey, but Nip's brother stepped in and diffused the situation. There was also a separate shooting incident involving others where police were called. As most of you know, Nipsey Hussle was tragically shot and killed in March 2019 by Eric Holder, a member of the Rollin' 60s Crips. Holder was convicted and sentenced to 60 years to life in prison.
For count one alone, it would be 50 years to life. The total sentence would be 60 years to life.
The official narrative has always been that Holder killed Hussle over a personal dispute about snitching allegations. But here's where the speculation comes in a resurfaced 2020 podcast clip featuring Whack 100 and Loose Cannon on No Jumper alleges that Big U knew about Hussle's murder 30 minutes before it occurred, with Cannon claiming Big U called him to relay this information.
So he FaceTimed me and stuff like that. He was like, Nipsey just got killed. I'm like, sick, so I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey and I'm like, Nipsey, what's up? He was like, oh, what's up with it?
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. But after I talked to Nipsey and I was like, yeah, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that. I'll see you later or whatever. So I hung up the phone. I thought Big U gave wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nip.
This video was reportedly deleted by No Jumper after Big U's 2025 arrest, which only fueled more speculation. Another resurfaced video shows Big U laughing after hearing news of Hussle's death, which some have interpreted as incriminating, but without context, it's impossible to know what that laughter truly meant. It could have been shock, disbelief, or any number of other emotions. Former death row rapper SKG or Shuja Night Girl also weighed in, alleging in a TMZ interview that Big U was involved in Hussle's murder. She claimed he arranged for people to attack her and extorted others to avoid working with her. SKG also stated she spoke with Ray Sean Williams' family and WAC 100 about Big U's alleged crimes. Though these claims remain unverified, Charleston White, known for his controversial takes, has also jumped into the mix in a resurfaced video. He claimed Big U was behind Hussle's murder, though no evidence supports this assertion.
Homie, they killed Nip too. Let's not forget, homie, they killed Nipsey Hussle. Eric Holder was not a lone actor in that. If you go back and follow the details, Nip and Big U got into it.
All right, fam, let's break it all down. The federal indictment does mention Big U's past connection with Nipsey Hussle, but it does not accuse him of Nipsey's murder. Instead, the case is centered on the Ray Sean Williams murder and other serious charges. Now, all those rumors you've seen online, they're mostly based on hearsay podcast clips and interviews from people who often stir up controversy. There's no solid evidence backing those claims. For example, the deleted No Jumper podcast, where loose cannon said Big U knew about Nipsey's murder. It's sketchy, but the fact that it was deleted might just mean they wanted to avoid legal issues, not that it proves anything. So what's the bigger picture here? This entire situation shows just how deep the lines between hip-hop street life and the justice system can run. In the cases of both Nipsey Hussle and Ray Sean Williams, we're looking at diss tracks, personal beefs, and tragic consequences. Only Big U's connected legally to Williams' murder, but the pattern is chilling. It also reveals something deeper about dual identities in the music world. Big U built a public image as a community activist running a nonprofit called Developing Options that got big donations, from NBA stars like Draymond Green and Shaq, but prosecutors say that was all a cover for running a full-on criminal enterprise. If those allegations are true, it's a massive betrayal of the very people he claimed to help. This is also a textbook example of how the RICO Act is being used in hip-hop, just like we've seen with Young Thug and Casanova. RICO allows the feds to go after the entire organization, not just the individual. And in Big U's case, they've painted a picture of a man running an empire built not on loyalty or respect, but on fear, manipulation, and control. We're talking about charges that include murder, fraud, extortion, human trafficking, and more. If proven true, it would mean the same influence Big U used to rise in music was also used to build a criminal network behind the scenes. And that's the part that hits hardest, when someone who claimed to uplift the community is accused of tearing it down from the inside. That kind of betrayal doesn't just ruin a reputation, it destroys trust. Big U is still awaiting trial set for May 20th, 2025, and he's pleaded not guilty. His legal team will get their chance to present their side, but until then, he remains behind bars with no bail, facing life in prison, if convicted. And with that, we wrap up this deep dive. If you found this video eye-opening, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell so you don't miss what's next, and drop your thoughts in the comments. This story's far from over.